Hey everybody, welcome back to 2 Acres Evolving. Today I'm doing part 2 of the good, the bad, and the ugly garden tour. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I'll be sure to put a link at the top of this video and down in the description below so you can check that out. But basically I'm starting over here where I finished off on part 1. Over here on the east side of my house, I've got quite a few trees. This area is going to be a lot of walkways and flower beds like that area in the backyard that I'm going to be doing. I plan on coming through and doing the privacy fence along this that goes up to the house, and then starting probably from about out here, I want to come through and cut all this out and maybe wind around and then go around to the front of the yard and do flower beds and pathways through this entire area. Even though there's a lot of trees, I still have areas that get full sun and I have areas that get full shade. So I'll be able to plant quite a few things out in this area. I plan on doing a flower bed around this group of trees. Along the fence line, this chain link fence going along through here is going to be coming out, and I'm going to be putting a wood fence. I don't know exactly what kind of fence I want to put out here yet, but I'm definitely going to be getting rid of this chain link fence and doing something that looks a little bit nicer. And then I plan on doing flower beds along the fence line. And then out here, the pathway, I plan on doing all the paths on my yard exactly how I did the pathway in the backyard, just doing river rock. I think that would be the easiest way to have paths throughout my yard since I have so much space that I need it. Over here in this area is one of the areas that gets quite a bit of shade. I have some grass plants in here. I have some hostas and the redhead coleus. This coleus I planted in the backyard earlier this year, like in very early spring, and I think I planted those a little too early and the frost got them. So these didn't do a whole lot this year, but I'm still happy with them, how they turned out. Now, this flower bed, I got a little bit ahead of myself, I think. I'm going to keep it here, but I just need to do a little bit more work on it. And then I'll do all that whenever I come in and rip out all the grass and weeds and everything. I'll just go through and redo this circle flower bed. I've cleared out quite a bit of space over in this area. So pretty much all the trees that I have over here are going to be staying, and then I'll just be doing flower beds around them and pathways through this area as well. So again, this entire area all the way back to the corner and then all the way up through here is just going to be pathways and flower beds. It's kind of hard to explain exactly where the flower beds are going to be because I don't even know yet. I know that I'm going to be doing flower beds around the trees, and then there's going to be just other flower beds that are out in the middle. But I want areas in my yard that I don't want to be able to see everything. If I'm standing up at my house, I don't want to be able to look out and just see everything. I want some areas that I actually have to walk to see what's in that specific area. So that's my whole plan for all the pathways and different areas in my yard. Right about here, this is where the yard's going to start, and I'm going to be pulling all the grass and weeds out of this area and reseeding, so it all has the same grass and it all looks the same out there. Starting about right here and then going on out to the driveway, I plan on doing a retaining wall, and I want something that I can plant flowers in that go all the way down. This winter I plan on creating a lot of flower beds, retaining walls, a lot of hardscape stuff, so that next spring everything will be ready to go. So over here, this area over here behind me, this area is probably the area that I'm most overwhelmed with. I like how it looks with all the trees out there. However, I've got a lot of thinking to do out in this area. I know I want to do some retaining walls and a bunch of flower beds and pathways out in this area, but this is such a huge area that it's definitely overwhelming. So this area I'm definitely overwhelmed with, but this is one of the areas that I'm most excited about because once I get all the flower beds and pathways done in this area, it's going to look amazing. Over here, again, that retaining wall from back there is going to be coming all the way up and go all the way up to the driveway back up there. And then I've started with the driveway over here. I've just got a whole lot more to do. I plan on bringing the gravel on out and meeting up with the retaining wall. Pretty much everywhere where you see the dead grass, that's where the gravel is going to go out to. This flower bed, I showed this a couple months ago on a video, and if I can find a picture of what this area looked like before, I'll be sure to post that up on the video. But this coleus, this is lime-time coleus, this has gone absolutely crazy. I did a ring around the edge and then I put some in the middle, and I was expecting them to get big, but I wasn't expecting them to get this big. I had another plan for these, but that plan didn't work out. So I had all these coleus and I didn't know what to do with them, so I just thought I'd bring them out here and see how they do, and they've done amazing. So I'll definitely be using these again in the future, but in different areas and not in a ring like this. Let me get in here. The main plants that I have in here that are going to stay here, the coleus are annuals, so they will die back this year and they won't come back next year. But I have 3 limelight hydrangeas in here. Now these get about 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, so they'll definitely fill in this area. And then each year I think I'm going to do annuals, probably supertunias from now on the outer edge that don't get as tall, but they'll spill over the edge and everything. But these limelight hydrangeas, I got these on clearance for half off, and they didn't look the best when I first got them, but they're rebounding really well, and they're doing really well in this area. This area gets full sun. It probably gets at least 8 hours of sun, if not more. So these are a paniculata type hydrangeas, which they prefer a full sun location. Over here, directly in front of my house, I've shown this area to you before, but there's a couple of things that I wanted to show you. This Supertunia Vista Snowdrift, I mentioned this in the part 1 tour. This plant right here has gone absolutely crazy, and it rained pretty much all night last night and all morning this morning, so it's kind of battered down right now. But I measured this the other day, and it was 6 feet wide and about 2 feet tall. And look, it's even starting to grow over the deer that I have over here and the rock. It's gone absolutely crazy. And this Supertunia Vista Snowdrift, this is just one plant. So I was not expecting it to get this big at all, but it looks like a small shrub sitting here. And then back behind it I have 2 more, which compared to this one, these look puny, but I'm still happy with them. And then I have the Silver Mound Artemisia. This one looked good all year. It's starting to die back a little bit, but I still like the texture of it and the look of it. I also have these iris plants here. I believe that they are yellow and purple. These were here before I moved in, and these actually bloomed for the first time this year. Right now they don't look the best. It's important to keep the leaves up throughout the season so that they can get all the energy from the sun, and that they'll have enough energy to bloom next year. So that's why the ends of them are all dead and everything. They were kind of just randomly put in before I moved here, and I'll probably dig these up and move them to another place. Actually, I know I will. This whole bed, I haven't done much work to it, hardly at all. So I plan on pulling everything out and moving a bunch of stuff and redoing this flower bed. Since it's up by the house, I want something that looks really good right here. And right now, with just random things planted, it doesn't look all that great. So this is kind of right now just like a test bed, and then I'll move everything over to its permanent spot later when it cools off a little bit. I have this bird feeder right here, and these plants right here that are in the middle of the iris plants, I had no idea what these were. When they first started coming up with these leaves, I thought it was a corn plant, and I kind of got all excited about it. And then I quickly realized that this is not corn. I looked it up, and I believe these are millet seeds. So I just let them grow because I did a little bit of research on them and saw that the birds like the seeds when they dry out. So I just let them grow, and maybe the birds will enjoy them, and I'll pull them out once they're gone. These bright red plants, I don't remember the proper name for them, but I do know that they're called dragon's breath. If you Google dragon's breath, these will be the first thing that come up. I planted these about 3 years ago, and I did not plant them in this area. But these are annuals, so they're not supposed to come back, but they reseed themselves and they come back every year in different locations. I pulled some of them out so that they didn't just take over everything, but I leave some of them because I kind of like the look of them. And then I have another one up here in the front. So I have this grass plant that I planted, I believe last year. It's come back and it's done really well this year. I have this, I have these knockout roses. You know, I got the David Austin roses in the backyard and they have done so well. And I probably would have liked these better if I didn't get the David Austin roses. But now that I have the David Austin roses, I just don't know. I mean, they're pretty. I like them. But I think I'm spoiled on the David Austin roses. I have the hostas over here in front. I planted these last year and they've all pretty much doubled in size from last year to this year. So I've been really happy with those. This variegated privet shrub, I planted these earlier this year, like in late spring, and these have just gone wild. I'll probably shape these up a little bit later. These are evergreens, so they'll keep their foliage, and these will be really good for a winter interest. Back over here is where I recently planted my small hedge of barberry shrubs. This one over here, a couple of days after I planted these, and it was extremely hot when I planted them, so I didn't want to move it or anything, but I realized that this one was off just a little bit. So when it starts cooling off, I'm gonna be sure to move this one back and over a little bit so it'll form a better hedge. Back over here to this flower bed, I wanted to show this red twig dogwood real quick. Now I planted this earlier this year and this one has gone wild as well. Again, I plan on redoing this entire flower bed, so I'm going to be pulling this out and moving this to another area on my property. But I wanted to point out, I just actually realized this today, that the stems on these are starting to turn bright red. And that's the main reason why I got this. Another really good plant for winter interest, because it'll lose all of its leaves and all of its blooms, but then it'll keep these really bright red stems all winter long. So over here in front of the garage, I have the cedar containers that I built about, I think, a month ago, maybe a month and a half. I have the hydrangeas back behind. These didn't bloom hardly at all this year, which I'm going to be popping those out and putting them in the landscape later on. But these Supertunia Vista Silverberry have done awesome in this. This container does not get full sun at all, and these prefer full sun conditions, but they bloomed and have grown like crazy, so I've been really happy with them. This one and then the one over here. This one over here, it was a little bit slower to grow in, but because this one over here doesn't get as much sun as the other one back over there, but this one has done really awesome as well, so I've been really happy with those. This area over here is definitely under construction. I'm going to be pulling out all this grass in here and all the gravel in the driveway. I'm going to continue it on through here to kind of make a circle driveway right here. And then this area over here on the side of the house, I'm going to be doing a brick retaining wall through here and then have this all as a flower bed. This circle over here, I made it the same size as the circle over there with the coleus and the hydrangeas. But this one is kind of another test flower bed. I just have some random things planted in here to see what would do good and what doesn't do good. So this is under construction right now, but it's going to be getting an overhaul pretty soon. This fountain is one of my favorite things in this area. I planted some creeping jenny around the edge of it, and I know creeping jenny can be invasive in certain situations, but this one down here, it's done awesome. It hasn't gone crazy or anything like that, and it's actually even grown quite a bit into the pond, which I don't mind. I like the look of it. And then this large plant back here is another type of Artemisia, and I kind of wasn't expecting this one to get quite as big so fast, but this one has done awesome. This one back here started out about the same size as this, and it's gone crazy. So now we're over here on the side of the front yard where we started the part 1 video back here. Again, the chain link fence is going to be going, and I'm going to be having a privacy fence through here. This crepe myrtle tree, it's still got some blooms on it, but the blooms are kind of dying back a little bit. But this thing was here before I moved in. It's one of the few things that was here whenever I moved in, and it's one of my favorite things on my entire property. It's absolutely beautiful when it's in full bloom, and the whole canopy is just pink. It's awesome looking. So now, like I've mentioned to you before in previous videos, the whole property that I've shown you in the tour so far, if you take that property and move it over next door, that's how the size of this property over here, but this area over here is completely wooded, and I own this over here too. So I want to take you in and show you a little bit of this and tell you plans that I have for this area over here. This fence right now is just here to keep the dogs out, because this property over here is not fenced in, so if my dogs get over here, they can just go anywhere. So I plan on replacing this with something a little bit more decorative, but this will do for now to keep the dogs in. So if we walk up here, it's kind of, I mentioned earlier that the area with all the trees in my front yard was very overwhelming. That don't compare to anything in this area. This area I am extremely overwhelmed with, but I think I'm the most excited for this property over here out of anything on my property so far, because whenever I get things cleared out and put in things that I want to put out here, it's going to look awesome. So this cleared out spot is the only clear spot on this property so far. I've just got random trees growing and a lot of junk that was here before I even moved in that I just need to come in and clear out. I plan on, this is a lot of work, and this is way more work than I'm capable of doing. So I plan on hiring someone that has like a forestry mulcher or something like that that can come out and clear a bunch of this junk out. I want to keep all the large mature trees out in this area, this front area, and I just want a lot of pathways through the wooded area and just a bunch of woodland plants out here and shade plants, and then just have trails winding in and out of this area up front. And then this area back here, and I'm sorry, the neighbor dogs are barking. But as you can see, I don't know if you can see on the camera very well, but it slopes up quite a bit right here. I don't know if I want to put in a retaining wall right here or what I want to do, but this back area, I want to completely clear it out. I may leave a few of the mature large trees back there, but this area back here I want to clear out, and I want to have a fruit orchard back there. And I also plan in this area to have chickens and goats, so I can't wait to have those incorporated into this area as well. Now on this cleared out spot right here, it's pretty level and pretty flat, so I may put like a large building over here, or I may look into possibly a very large greenhouse on this property. I don't know yet exactly what I want to do, but I definitely want to do something on this flat area just so it's not a bunch of wasted space. I'll take you down here a little bit and show you kind of what this area looks like down here. Now, well, I haven't had a huge issue with them this year, but we have copperhead snakes really bad out here. So there's no telling what I'll get on out here. So I'm not going to go very far. But as you can see, it is completely wooded. And I cannot wait to have somebody come out here and mulch all this up and clean all this up. And so I have a blank slate to work on out here and just create a bunch of trails and flower beds and stuff like that. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the tour. I just kind of wanted to show you all what the areas look like now and just kind of some plans that I have for specific areas in my yard, just to kind of give you all an idea of what to look forward to in the future. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you in the next one.